Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and this is definitely the most anticipated late night show on a Friday evening. It's been a wet day, and come rain or shine, the table remains constantly here. I'm your host, Olamide, and tonight we, as always, will be diving deep into the narrowing pathway of the unspoken, going into dark places with our hard, reliable torchlights to illuminate the world with our wisdom and wits. So, grab a glass of your favorite drink, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. But it comes with a warning. It is a no-holds-barred show, and what that means is that we will have to ask for forgiveness on a lot of things we're going to be saying. And because I wouldn't be getting into trouble all by myself, I'm going to be introducing the guys I'm with. I don't do this alone. I'm not the only troublemaker. I'm going to be introducing the man who's got one of the best voices you can, listen to on radio. He's on Obam FM. Great guy. I remember I met him in Abuja, and the rest is history. And we also call him the mayor of Agungi for certain reasons. And, he's an all-round good guy. Wise guy, smart guy. He never cheats in Lagos. Elsewhere, we don't know. But yeah, he's by the bar, giving us the wit.
always at the bar, where I deserve to be. Thanks, Olamide, for that intro.
Yeah, it's lovely to see you, by the way. I love you
doing the show. I love being here. It's a great day. Let's get in.
Yeah, of course, we missed him last week, and the show was totally, down like this because he wasn't here. He had a little bit of something. We're not going to talk about what he had for obvious reasons, but he's back. We call him the rich uncle.
Write these scripts. This one.
We call him the rich uncle for many reasons. Uncle Rafemi, welcome. Lovely to see you.
Cheers to the weekend.
Bow.
Yeah. Welcome back, bro.
Welcome back.
The guy, he's here now.
God.
He writes it with intent.
God.
He writes it with intent.
And yes, joining us for the very first time on the Black Table, someone who you might all know as one of the top MCs in Nigeria. He goes by the nickname of the Steven Spielberg of MCing. Alongside other things, he actually defined what it means to build a ship. Yeah, he will explain it before the much. Welcome, Babajide Guerrero. Did I pronounce it?
First of all, Guerrero. Yeah, fair enough.
Babajide
Guerrero. Babajide Guerrero. Yes, it is. Babajide Guerrero. Nice to be here, guys.
Yeah.
I've been a huge fan of the show. Nice to be here. Let's do Bluetooth. Yeah, I was just going to second Rich Uncle on that. Who wrote that script?
I don't know who wrote the
Very
script.
explicit.
Whoever that person is going to get in trouble
It's a dark pathway, putting light into dark pathway.
illuminating the world.
You did mention something about me, explain something about the vessel. I'm never going to say it. Yeah. It's not me. I am definitely not saying it, but it's good to be here. Let's have it cracking.
All right. Thank you. Like I said, it's a no-holds-barred show, and tonight we're going to be touching on a lot of things. Yes, exciting week so far. But before we get right into it, we're going to take a quick break. When we return, the Black Table begins.
You always take the bill on the first date, second date, and third date. Bro code.
All right, welcome back. I just want to give a quick shout out to some of the interesting viewers who've watched the show over time. Surprisingly, every time I go out, people come and then they give me certain comments. We appreciate the comments and feedback, but we will never change.
Just put
We
it
will
out
never
there.
change.
No,
We will never change. And there's a reason why I'm saying that, because
those
a lot of
comments
people
are negative.
have defined certain things like, man, you guys are too out there. You guys just, say things. And I'm like, okay, it's not our fault.
It's a table of men.
Yeah, it's a table of men, having drinks.
And
drinks, it's 11 o'clock in the night.
Yes, exactly.
What do you want?
Friday.
Sometimes there's some fine girls in the studio. Yo, this.
By the way, for
about.
you guys watching right now, I can tell you that we've got about 4 beautiful women in the studio.
They're not his fault.
Wow.
Yeah.
They're not his fault.
Yeah, maybe.
No, that's fine.
Wait.
Please don't explain. Please don't explain.
Okay. So
Jesus.
it's very important that it's the Black Table. It's an ensemble of men, But in actual sense, we've got female producers, so don't think it's all men doing what men do. We have women, you know, behind the scenes, making all of this happen.
A lot of big women too.
And talking about women, our first quick fire. Okay, let's not call this a quick fire. This is just something we need to touch on, and I need to really hear Gang's take on it.
Wow.
Yes. Nigerian football player Victor Osimhen over a couple of days ago came out on social media and, you know, gave his thoughts on a supposed feedback from the now, you know, former coach of the Nigerian Super Eagles, one of the, you know, greatest players we've had play for the national team in George Finidi, who had the opportunity to be the head coach of the national team for 2 straight games. And there was this, you know, spillover over a lot of things that happened during those 2 games, and Victor Osimhen gave his own thoughts on it. Quick one, Gang, and then I'm going to ask every other person what they think. What was your thought over that? Was it handled the right way?
I really don't know the genesis of the story, so I can't really give much feedback from it. But I feel he feels he was in his right to handle it that way. You get me? Sometimes, you know, the strange thing with social media is once you decide to put certain things online,
Can't take them back,
on the internet, you can't take it back.
Really much.
The deed has been done. You might regret it, but it's out there for eternity. You get me? Okay. So he said, let me put it to you like this. He said what he said. So whoever wants to consume it in their own way has a way to define it for themselves, but he said what he said.
Okay. Thank you very much for that. I'm going to ask you quickly what your thoughts are.
I think it was rash. Yeah, I think, guys, believe it or not, being a global superstar comes with some kind of responsibility. It comes with some...
See, sometimes, sorry, I'm jumping back in.
Yes,
sometimes
it's okay.
I don't like hearing that because for me, you're just simply telling people pretend or change from who you are.
True.
You're a rash person.
True. You're always going to be rash.
That we talked about, I don't want to deviate, but we talked about people like Portable that have been his true self online and not changing certain things. The expectation is that now that I'm a superstar, I used to be like this. People say people change when they get to certain things. That's what we're telling them. Change when you get there.
But it's different now.
So let's
what is different now, gang, is that it's stardom is not secluded. It's not like I can be a star to this person, not be a star to another person. When you play for a football club as big as Napoli, the Super Eagles of Nigeria, when people would analyze anything you do, they're analyzing based on what you did, not who you are sometimes. Right? What did you do? You called out a coach that at a point in time was one of the best footballers in the world in his position, right? No disrespect. Maybe the coach didn't cover himself in glory. The man really messed up. Yeah, you know, to be honest. But Osimhen is saying that, you know what, I called this man, and this man said XYZ is, you know, is singling me out for issues and all back and forth. But I do feel that at some levels, you have to learn being tactful, being diplomatic. Now, I'm not saying change from who you are. Everybody knows that it comes from Olusosun, But when you say some words like, I mean, for the fact that we're on TV, we can't say some of the things he said. Exactly, you know, so when you do that, you're giving the 16-year-old, the 14-year-old that will be like, okay, I want to be like Victor Osimhen. Okay, am I going to be like that Victor Osimhen? So that right there is probably one or two issues. And I do think that this whole apologize, let somebody, he should come. I don't think it's a problem of apology. It's a problem of the person. Victor Osimhen has always been, you know, a quick fire infantry on social media. The way he engages on social, you can tell. Sometimes when you're a superstar, I'm sorry, but if you...
So, but are you surprised
so in my head,
that the way he
I'm not surprised, because there was a time I was on a podcast and he had an issue with the Prince of Monaco, Victor Ikpeba. Right? He said, oh, I want a bon day. Meaning, he used that kind of word on Victor Ikpeba. So when you... I want Agbaya. You know, when you see somebody who goes all gongos on stuff, who doesn't hold back, you're going to have a problem with a lot of people. Because the media are waiting for you to sleep. He's a great guy, fantastic all-round guy. But he needs to watch it, especially on social media.
You rightly said that, because even in his club, Napoli, he had so many things to say when the particular social media post was put out last year. And
that one was even cruel. That one was out there. The issue now is, guys, this one was said to your national team coach. In the national team, they have so many tribes, so many tongues, so many people, so many perceptions, so many factions as well. You don't want to do that, because you're giving the next guy, why Victor do and I no go feed one? Who be Victor? Why I no go feed one? So they need to nip that in the bud. My opinion.
Thank you, Rich Uncle. What's your thoughts on that?
I generally don't like people going off on social media because, first of all, I want to believe he has that guy's phone number. So that's something they could have trashed out.
Exactly.
Like, they could have talked about it, one. And then number two, would he talk to his, wherever he plays, can he talk to his coach like that? The answer is most probably no.
He wouldn't dare to do it.
He would walk. So clearly, there's a lack of respect there. He doesn't see this guy as the head coach of the national team. Because if he does, you won't talk like that. You can't talk like that to your coach now in your team. You won't.
Yeah.
Respect is respect now.
I think Gang didn't listen to some of the things he said. I mean, we just can't see it on TV.
I know Osimhen for, like you said, for his very rash post. You get me?
Yeah,
so what I'm trying to say now is he knows that there's supposed to be consequences to actions like this.
Fact.
But he still behaves that kind of way. He thinks nothing will happen, and now something should happen. Like you said, other people are looking and saying, so what's going to happen?
Yeah, where do we go from here?
They can bench him. They can take him off the team.
Bro, just take him off the team.
And that's it.
Hard. Like, it's not so hard. Because
so it's not so hard, but now this is what...
Maybe that could be rash, though. Maybe that, because rash...
arguably, Victor Osimhen...
leave someone like that on the team.
You know, I think I'm going to play the devil's advocate right now. I think there are certain things that hasn't been well managed public-wise, even from the NFF. And that those things have been, it's been escalated the wrong way. I'm not taking sides here, but I think Victor Osimhen, to a large extent, was being Victor Osimhen. I think it was a disrespect.
That's what I'm saying.
It was a disrespect to Finidi George. But I mean, we're men. I mean, come together over drinks and then you sort these things out.
Senior man, how far now?
Now, exactly, senior man, how far?
Yeah.
So we're going to move to our next week fire. This one we need to talk about.
Was the best in the world in his position at the time.
We'll talk about it.
Osimhen has given us something to talk about. This is what the internet is there for people to act like fools and give us this juicy gist.
Indeed.
All right, Victor Osimhen, I'm a huge fan. I love you.
We all do, man.
Whatever happens, I hope you sort it out quickly. But talking about another former Nigerian international player,
Are we talking about footballers today?
Yeah, we're talking about footballers here. Now, this one has to do with his estranged wife. And, you know, a couple of months ago, we talked about the alleged situation with him and his partner, where he, according to some sources, was said that his children were his. And you know that blew up. Yes, and that blew up on social media. There were many people who had different things to say about the situation. And yes, now it's escalated even a bit further because now he's trying to get some of his property from his estranged wife.
I don't know why is he trying to get the property is not in his name.
No, according to
the name of the wife.
According to the information, the wife, according to them, the wife was able to find a way to change most of the names on the documents to hers. Now it's trying to get that back, and for me, it brings to a certain level how people need to be more educated about things like this, especially when it comes to separation or divorce. So, in my thoughts, it's really about different people pointing fingers, trying to figure out who is wrong or right. But in actual sense, in this part of the country, in Nigeria today, when a man and a woman separate, what does the law say about it?
I think I read that story. That's the woman that is having an affair with that London pastor.
Allegedly. Allegedly, yeah.
See, truth be told, I can't give you detail about what the Nigerian law is in regards to that, but in most situations, women benefit in separation.
Okay.
In Nigeria, I don't think so.
No, because now here's the reason why. The assumption is that she's going to bear the brunt of raising the kids. In most situations, the kids are with the woman.
True.
Yeah.
You get me?
In most,
but
yes.
now, but that's court-wise. But we're very traditional here. That whereby when your in-laws have a say in your marriage, sometimes they come in to claim certain things as well, and they don't let the wife actually get certain things. That, especially when it comes to the demise of the husband in those kind of situations. This is not divorce or separation. If the husband passes away, sometimes the woman actually has rights to certain things, but traditionally her in-laws step in and deny her certain privileges. So in general, when every separation happens, first of all, you think the guy's at fault, and the woman is entitled to have more to her name.
I'm sure you guys actually know about the story
and
know about the situation on ground.
But it's not the same this time. What the issue has been is over time, Olarewaju has come to. He's a very quiet guy. I have a bit of small relationship with some of these footballers. He's one of those guys that he doesn't even want to be known, right? But because he plays football for one of the top clubs in the world, in that part of the world, is out there. He has no choice. So apparently, the lady is 9 years older.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
How you do You know they have.
The problem is not her being 9 years older. The problem is that he didn't even know.
That's really not.
He didn't even know.
He didn't know about the lady at the time. Said, you know what, we're cool. When you see when you like a guy, he's a footballer.
He didn't know she was 9 years old.
She didn't mention now, bro. Footballer. Money day.
Yeah.
The world is his oyster now. How is he marrying a woman that is 9 years older?
But he did not know.
How did you not know?
The lady said, just like the same way people say, okay, I mean, for example, I know a situation of somebody say they've done genotype and
so
all.
let's assume
so they said it's AA.
We're going to get
So
there.
all of a sudden, you guys are telling me that this guy, let's say he's like 25 years old, right?
Yeah, about.
He's dating this woman that is like 35 and he doesn't know she's 35.
Yeah, it's possible. It's possible.
Are you people joking?
Bro, you doesn't know now.
It's possible. It's possible.
He's a baller now. He's not a baller.
So the thing is that we need to look at this.
No. Let's
put it on the table, yeah?
Okay. So this woman, they slept together, right?
Yeah.
He knows what she looks like in the morning.
Yeah.
He look at her and he don't know, say he don't.
Follow me by now.
Femi, this is not my.
What are you people saying? 9 years.
You know they show
now.
You know they show for face now.
What do you mean by that?
But wait.
What do you mean by
let's give him the benefit of the doubt.
There's no benefit of the doubt.
Let's say when
let's excuse stupidity.
Okay, maybe he knew she was older, but 9 years.
How old is this guy?
I think maybe about 27 now.
27. There's no woman, so she's probably like 37.
Yeah.
You are telling me that guy saw a 37-year-old woman and he didn't know.
It wasn't now.
It wasn't now. At the time they were in love.
He just felt she was older, but you know it was that length.
Yeah.
Exactly. Now that's
See,
better.
guys, you're missing it. See. Let's
9 years,
just
bro.
put this the way it is. See, it's not his fault. You see,
You don't see Andrew.
Kayode Olarewaju was a victim of Gok.
The guy was not even on nada, bro.
I thought you were going to finish that.
No. So the truth is okay. There's nothing wrong with loving a woman that is older than you.
I'll just even
But
start
you
it.
play that card as,
Femi, just
she was 9 years.
Yeah, you just picked on that
bring
particular
it.
thing.
No.
Right,
Don't
so I think
bring
they've
it.
been having serious issues over time. I think the fact that the lady is mostly in Nigeria and Kayode goes play football over there, and that's
No, but the guy can afford to move his family with him now.
That's
So
space in
why
between.
they not there with him?
So it's said that the lady has been stealing most of the properties, his properties in his name, to fund the alleged lover of Pastor Toby, who is a pastor but not a man of God, in my opinion. Right? Yeah. So I do think that sometimes you can be a pastor.
Yeah.
Because you can be a pastor, man.
He is a pastor.
Yeah, exactly.
He is a pastor.
There you go.
I've passed many things.
So now you're owing so many things.
Now I'm in the future. All that's in the past.
Yes.
I've passed this.
Right. So apparently he's using that to fund. That's how. Yeah. I mean, they say pictures of Larry had to quit. Larry had to quit. His football club. It's that bad to just deal with this particular issue. It's what people call you won't finish him. But and the issue is most of the time when we hear issues of divorce and people fight and having backs and forth, it's mostly people jump to the defense of the woman. We're not hearing anything anymore.
But I mean, the real story is actually that when he confronted her and he was trying to confront her in regards to his property, he was actually harassed physically.
And there's a picture, I think.
Yes, and the pictures of scratches on his body and all of that. Now, if we turn the tables around. And then this is a man doing this to a woman. What do you think will happen?
I just don't know how. I don't know how you are a footballer.
Get that 9 years out of his mind.
You have money. You have all the
access to the world,
and you are now having issues with a woman that is 9 years older than you.
He did not know at the time.
Somewhere. Okay, so just pull the plug and move now, bro. The guy get money now.
That's the problem. Now, the problem is that it's almost as if she had a certain level of control in the relationship.
Definitely.
So clearly,
so
clearly,
it's his fault to an extent.
It's got 3,000.
No, and those things,
the guy was whipped. The guy was whipped.
So those things, men don't talk about it a lot, but the truth of the matter is that I can almost assume, to a very large extent, and I'm sure I'll be correct, that when he started rolling with this woman, some of his friends, his boys, or his family members would have been like, nah. They're not feeling this lady.
Yeah.
And one way or the other, she successfully fenced them all out. Because there's no way on the face of the earth you tell me that she converted almost all properties he bought. We know he's the baller now. She's not a baller. So where she get money to buy all these things? And then all the properties are now in her name.
Wait, rich uncle, let me just quickly say this. You see, there are certain football players that are celebrated globally. He's not even amongst the top hierarchy of people. And I can tell you that a certain football player who played for both Ivory Coast and Arsenal Football Club, Emmanuel Eboué, went bankrupt.
No.
Went bankrupt because of the same things.
Now,
so, I know it's not just about that, but the point is this: there are several of them. These guys are not just the only ones.
But sometimes you do know it's a question of how deep is the trust sometimes. Because I mean, when you marry a woman, you're marrying your soulmate, your partner, your helper. That's what. Don't make that face. Thank you. You know. So when you marry your helper, you're expecting that this person should guard me and guard my back. So issues of trust and all. So maybe Larry is one of those guys.
Especially when you're making it, you feel like things are still coming. Let her be doing whatever she's doing.
Indeed. And that's what Eboué suffered. I mean, apart from that, he married a woman of color. But besides that, this one is tiwantiwa. This one is homebred. It shouldn't be happening. But again,
bro,
anybody in love is in love.
Does he know how family members?
Dude, the girl. Honestly, it's almost like she's the dude and he's the girl.
That's what it seems like.
Because she's played the game the way the game should be played.
So the guy goes and hustle, works in that Czech Republic league in code, facing racism every time, sends money home, buy cars in his name. She changes it.
Well, anyways, I still hold him responsible. Be smart. And talking about being smart, we're going to go to our next quick fire. This has to do with the son of the late MKO Abiola, who said in a recent podcast that my father, Abiola, had 40 wives and 103 children. But after DNA tests, we got reduced to 55 children. Now, the reason why I want to talk about this and I want us to give us our, give your 10 cents about it is that recently research shows that it is possible for a woman who's had multiple partners over time have different men deposit their DNA in their eggs. And why? I know you're laughing already, but when she finally gets that egg fertilized by a man, when you check the DNA, it is a strong possibility that...
It's like a jigsaw of DNA.
There's a strong possibility that when the DNA is checked, Okolo Femi's DNA is there, Gang's DNA is there, Papa Jide's DNA is there, and then, they get it wrong. So I really want us to talk about this. Does it authenticate DNA tests? Or it tosses it out, out of it?
So I think that's one that you just said. Yeah, definitely. But the truth of the matter is that DNA is DNA.
It is. I was about to say that.
DNA is 99.99%. Like, the margin for error is like this. Like,
so,
God has to be against you for the DNA to go against you. But truth be told, in Abiola's case, I think everybody already knew that all those kids couldn't possibly have been his now.
True.
He had 50 wives. How many of them did they see?
True.
Other people, those people were just taking liberty and enjoying
the boy you actually mentioned, he said when it was time for burial, some didn't appear. Some couldn't come because, I mean, when a man like that dies and everybody has a bit of their hand in their cherry pie.
And even if you read about him and how he even had access to some of those women or how they became his wives too, it's also questionable. There are a lot of, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, there are a lot of like Yoruba traditions and folks here, very large families. I went to school with one of the Abiolas. I went to school with one of the Olatero Olagbegis. That was also a large family that had so many wives and families here family. And there. You get me? I know that in Yoruba side, correct me if I'm wrong, this side of the country, there's some prominent men back in the days that, they can move from village to village and be gifted women.
You're spot on, man.
Do you understand? That, and when they gifted these women, they engage with them, and whether they take them on or not, they move on to
other things.
It
doesn't downgrade the quality of the culture.
Exactly.
But that's just the truth.
It's just the culture. And some of those women also get involved with other men, of course. As well. But then when you're the guy that's the superstar, at the end of the day, they will leech on to you eventually, and especially when the kids even have a little resemblance to you.
So that's cultural, but I really want us to talk about this
This DNA
The
thing.
DNA
So
thing.
what you're telling me now is that there's a possibility that there's a child somewhere that has
your
my DNA, but nobody's
It's
born
because
out.
I've got this neighbor, yeah,
Bro,
That looks
that does not look like any member of the family, and I always wonder, like, what's going on?
I hope you're not watching the show.
What's going on? What's
innocent
this?
man and
What's
woman
this?
fight this night because of this thing. Like,
No jokes, right? So I
But
hosted,
seriously, yeah.
I hosted a wedding. No jokes. What you just said, just
Yeah.
to tally what you said. I hosted a wedding. They had already been, they've been together for a while. So it was their child that was their ring bearer. The boy we can't bear the ring, no resemble anybody of the ring way they bear. Doesn't look like the father, doesn't look like the mother, doesn't look like.
No.
And I was the
There's
host
not
of the
many
event.
ways.
bro,
So I mean, I was just there. Ladies and gentlemen, you welcome to this absolutely amazing event. We welcome you. I couldn't get my eyes off the boy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. So I mean, just to say what
that
he said.
could be a clear case of.
So let's say DNAs have been deposited. But
like a jigsaw
to be more
of
serious,
DNA,
yeah,
man.
that is really sad. If
Indeed.
it's actually factual, if it's
Indeed.
actually scientific, whereby, you know,
No, but
A
even apart,
woman
apart from
can-
science,
yeah.
apart from science, even urban myth or urban legend says once you engage in sexual activity with another person, there's a part of you you've left,
That left.
or deposited in that
Yeah.
person.
That's
so which goes
though.
back to what people talk about culturally.
Culturally,
whereby,
both ways.
you
That's
know,
why they don't encourage having multiple partners.
Yeah.
That's why I know you guys are not used to it. It's supposed to be one woman, one man.
Wait, so you're saying that there's
Wait,
a
I don't
possibility that
understand.
there's a child somewhere now that if I run this, I'll be like,
Listen,
my
I know a
God,
story.
why do you look like?
Listen, I know a story of a woman that saw a child. I know a story of a woman that saw a child
Yeah.
and called her son and said, "I just saw you
Yeah.
as a kid."
Yeah.
She followed that boy and said, "Who's your mother?" And she called her son and said, "Do you know this girl?" The boy said, "Yes." She said, "You have a child with that
Like,
girl."
Whoa.
That was how bad it was.
Wow, no way.
She saw this child and said, she called her
Trust
son and
me.
said, "I saw a little version of you
Yeah.
running around." Followed the boy,
the mother
found out
would
who
know.
his mother was,
The mother
called
would
her
know.
son and said, "Do you know so person?" So
Yeah.
the boy said, "Yeah, I know that person."
So-
he didn't even tell her that I've been involved with her. Once he said, "I know that person," she
have a
told
child.
him, "You have a child."
You know what you're saying now
gonna
is so
do,
funny
man?
because I met this lady earlier
That's how
today.
deep it was.
I was at the bank, and then, I mean, sweet lady, a bit elderly and all of that. And then she looked at me, she asked me a question. She was like, "Oh, are you Igbo?" I'm like, "No, I'm not." And she goes like, and she started speaking Igbo, and I'm like, "I'm sorry, I'm not Igbo." And then she goes like, "You really look like this person, blah, 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 blah." Then the next thing she says is that, "Do you know Oliver the Co?" I'm like, "Yeah, I do." And she goes like, "You look like him when he was younger." I was like, "I do." I do.
Do you play guitar? Do you play the guitar?
I
Do you
play
like
other
instruments?
things.
Do you like
I
instruments?
play other instruments.
You play an
Yeah,
instrument?
but I can't say it on TV.
No, but the
Do you,
kind of
do you like
instrument he
beard?
plays,
We know. You play with your beard sometimes.
I don't touch my beard.
Okay, do you like
I
flute?
have People.
Yeah.
Okay.
You like
I think we're talking about
No,
something
no,
else.
no.
All right, we're moving to the next quick fire.
that was strong. Wait, so his mom went and said,
Yeah.
His mom,
What are the odds of that
she,
happening, man?
Bro.
If God won't catch you,
Interesting
like
stuff,
this.
right?
God will catch you like this.
Dude, let me give you one. I don't want to share this story because
You're
Please
going
share.
to share that
This is a
story.
long time ago.
You're going to have
Then
to share the
please share.
story.
I was invited to a family meeting of one of my guys that had knocked up somebody else, but he was denying that it wasn't him.
Okay.
I am telling you, if you see this kid, you will first of all look at him and be like, "Are you a
Yes. How can you be
Dude.
denying?
look in the mirror? That's
Can
you."
be denying?
You don't know DNA
Yes.
test needed.
Yeah, no one.
So sometimes
You can't blame the brother. It was just a tip.
So sometimes it's funny that here's the funny thing. Sometimes there's things that are hard to deny, especially if you've been involved with a lady. Now, some ladies might have multiple partners, and when they simply say he's the one, you can't deny you haven't. Now he was denying I've never slept with her, because once he had accepted I've slept with her,
But
chances are,
yes.
Yeah.
But the kid
And then,
is him.
and then when you have ladies that sleep with multiple partners,
yeah.
you now hear a text. I'm not speaking from experience, just so you know. I say, how you doing? I'm fine.
you're the one.
It's, I'm pregnant. You are the lucky one. So wait, did we do?
Yeah, raffle draw.
Raffle draw.
All right, let's move to our next
I
quick
can just
fire.
imagine how that thing will just change the direction of your life. You're sitting down Sunday afternoon,
Indeed.
watching football.
Sitting with the guy,
You're one of
chilling,
those
somebody
guys,
good.
like,
Yeah.
I get Peking. All
right, on that note, we need to move on to the next quick fire. But before we move on to the next quick fire, I need to let you know you can phone in on the show and be a part of the show.
Nice. Why?
You want to
should have said this thing before
be a part of the show.
But there's somebody that's screened all the callers, though.
Are going to come up now.
There's somebody that's screened all the callers.
Don't worry. We're safe. People are afraid.
This is the equivalent of my mother calling me that you have a child now. So we should have been told beforehand now.
So you can call and engage with us directly, and hopefully the guys will be able to answer the question. Me, I'm not going to answer any questions. I can tell you that for free. Now, moving on to the next quick fire.
Calling become a
last week
since right now.
Since right now, man. Since right now, get used to it.
So the next quick fire comes from I'll call him influencer. I like to call him influencer. Reno Mockery is someone who speaks about almost everything, and he put out this message on his socials, and I'm just going to read it out there. We guys can talk about what you think about it. And it goes like this: don't let any woman fool you into believing that nonsense they saw on the internet. That man who still consults his parents is a boy. Consult your parents on everything. Consult them before you propose. Seek their counsel about the wedding. Turn to them during the marriage. Brainstorm with them about your business. The only people who want you to succeed more than them are your parents. Yeah. And we talked about this sometime recently, whereby we mentioned that the only woman who truly loves you is your mother, and we got a lot of fire for saying that. Like the only woman who really loves you and who really wants the best for you is your mother. But now this is Reno saying that what, when it comes to settling down, when it comes to making the decision, when it comes to picking a lifetime partner, you need to consult your parents. Now, Rich Uncle, this is a woke generation. Do you think that still applies?
First of all, I don't think the internet likes Reno.
It's a lot of truth, yeah.
I was just going to say that.
They don't like the truth.
They don't like the truth, number one. And then, if you remove sentiments out of everything this guy says, what exactly is he saying that is wrong? I've not heard him say anything that I'm like, there's no sense in this.
True.
So let's be honest. The guy says, consult your parents. I wish my father was still here for me to consult him on a lot of things. Because, first of all, like he said at the very end, that the only people that want you to succeed better than them in life are your parents. And you see that line? It changes everything. Because everybody, whether silently or verbally, we are all in competition. Oh, I want to best this person. I want to best this person in one way or the other. So you're never going to get the honest truth out of people like you get it from your parents. Which is why I said that guy, what's that footballer's name that doesn't know our friends? Because those are the people that will tell you that, bro, they knew you when you were running the streets with your pampers now. Yes, you're a superstar footballer now, we know, but this is the way they do that wrong thing. Yeah. Those are the people. And
but most times people do not listen.
No, the moment you lose those people, your life is on cruise control or long. Like, regardless of wherever you are in life. I said here on this show now that there are some things I can't do in front of my mother at 44. She will slap me. I'm 44 years old. She will look at, are you
normal?
Those things keep you in check. Because the truth of the matter is that deep down in our lives, we all think we know ourselves, but you don't know yourself until you have limitless power and limitless money. You think that this way. Wait. You think you like big yash? You might be a breast guy. Now just be say your money. Now yash girls in their
this analogy was going well.
Bro,
until you went there.
Yeah, I was just there following. You just put me inside bush.
No, but the truth is, the only people in this world that will tell you exactly as it is, without any form of sprinkling or sugar, your parents. And you know why they can tell you that? Because they've seen you at the lowest of lows.
They know
so
everything.
There's nothing that you become today that is great in their eyes.
So you subscribe to people still going back to their parents to make certain decisions
Seeking opinion
like that.
doesn't mean they're going to decide for me.
Yeah.
They're just going to show me another perspective. Like, okay.
It's counsel.
I don't have to take their advice, but it's important that and I always tell people that when you want to make decisions, it's always best to have an informed opinion. What's an informed opinion?
Experience.
I'm looking at it from this side. You are looking at it from that side. He's looking at it from that side. I take all of these opinions. So I have a 360 view as against just me sitting down here looking
Deciding.
at it
Making
from this
decision,
point. Do you
yeah.
understand? So when you now have that, all those opinions, collect them and now say, okay, do I want to go left or do I want to go right? You can't go wrong. It's very important. It's very, very
Okay,
important.
Babajide.
I think it's a social media thing.
Yeah.
And just like we said earlier, social media is very fickle. The way people pick things on social media is amazing. We said something at the beginning of the show. I see who I listen to on social media.
Bro, it's very important, man.
I don't go hook, like, and sinker. There's some people that once AI brings, I just poof, poof. I may not watch your rumor that just poof. You know, there's this particular issue where one girl say that anybody else to sleep it out must have 20 million. I didn't even follow that story. I was just hearing in passing.
20 million.
My point is that let's say when Papa never see 1 million, you never gather around like
2
this.
million.
Right.
2 million.
You know, so I think for a fact that even when the only Bible says that we should cling to, a man shall leave his wife and cling to his wife, it didn't say cling to them and abandon your parents. Right? It was important, putting it in context. You need backbones. And that's the truth. In this particular gist we're having, there's a particular comment I saw there when somebody said, no be all parents go me be better. Another person wrote that said, that fake parents be that.
Straight up.
That's a fake parent. Because genuinely, I mean, my father worked many years with a particular musician, right? And he was a top backup singer for many, many years. So when I said, oh, Dad, I don't want to be XYZ, I want to be a master of ceremonies, I don't want to be the best, one of the greatest to ever hold the microphone. I was like, okay, let me see if he can be better than me when I was holding my microphone. Right? So I think for me, that it's absolutely important. But when you marry all these girls that today, you know, 1 minute it is Mary Kay, the next minute it is another brand on their face. So the level of worth, the level of value, the things that matter to them, you find out it is very, very shallow.
Hey.
So for the first time in a while, I think I agree with Reno. I think sometimes it can really be a very, very, very silly person on social media. But this is actually spot on. Yeah.
Okay, guys, let me quickly read the final bit, then I'll take your feedback.
Go ahead.
So it goes like this. Any wife that cuts you from your parents is after your life. Because I can assure you, she won't cut away from her family because of you. And I agree with that. What's your thought on that?
So let me play devil's advocate. You said I'm a pastor, but not a man of God. And I like
Are you?
Well, I like the fact that you quoted scripture and you're talking about a man shall leave his parents. It says so in the Holy Book as well, and cling on to whatever. But also, don't forget, that same Bible says, honor thy mother and father.
Fact.
Honor your parents. There's a huge role parents play into this. And one of the dynamics in marriage, sometimes it's the in-law, which is on both sides, husband and wife. Sometimes women try to control the home by imposing her own family on her current family to make sure they take over and things go in that direction. The man sometimes also wants to do the same. And in ways to please the woman, sometimes he lets her have her way. Now, I want to play devil's advocate here. I agree with as much as what you guys were saying, and Reno said no lies in what he was saying. But people take away from the fact that at the end of the day, you yourselves are going to become parents.
Okay.
You get me? As much as we're all saying, my parents is my parents' dad, don't forget that you on your own, you and your wife are going to become parents to kids that will either look up to you, honor you, or do their own thing and say, forget Daddy Femi, forget my MC dad, forget Oliver the Coke, forget...
You have to go
what? Like,
I'm just saying.
where's that coming from?
DNA. But you get where I'm coming from.
Forget Oliver the Coke.
So I'm just saying,
That one go. Chop up, my guy.
So at the end of the day, you get where I'm coming from. We ourselves are parents that are soon going to be in that position when our children...
How do we want to be treated when we get to that position?
Exactly. How do we want to be played? How do we want to be seen? Do we want our children to honor us or forget about us?
My child wants to be from...
You know what, gang, on that special thought, we need to take a quick break. So when we return, we can take the main topic for tonight's show on the black table. We still have quite a lot to go on. Guys, please call. We need to talk to you. Already getting a lot of social media feedbacks, and then we'll focus on the main topic once we return after this quick break.
You always take the bill on the first date, second date, and third date. Bro code.
Now, is the economy killing the act of gratitude? That is what we're talking about this evening on the Black Table.
Yes, next.
And this comes from a story that was trended over the week on social media, whereby a guy talked about the fact that he sent £25 to a friend who was getting married, and you know, at the
it wasn't £25, it was 50K. It was a
50K,
useless friend
50K,
that sharp
50K.
sent his £25.
Yes, I mean, he converted it. He did the math and converted it. And the thing is this: we need to talk about how things are today in the world, in Nigeria to be specific. Do people still express gratitude? Do I necessarily have to contribute something to you because you're my friend? And what is the best way to achieve it? We know for a fact that the ladies out there are entitled. We know that. And guess what? We also know that it is because of men. But now, in this particular situation, whereby a friend is getting married, and, you know, is seeking the support of, you know, other friends, and decides to share what he can give, which is 50,000 naira.
Which is a lot of money.
Which is a lot of money. Please, if you give 50,000 naira, I'll be trying for you.
It's a lot of money, bro.
Listen, I need to jump in. Ready.
What do you think is going on? It seems people have lost the sense of gratitude.
He wants to jump in.
I need to jump in.
Just hold your
Everybody's jumping in on this one.
The thing is, that thing is very dicey because there are two ways to look at it. Now, we don't know the relationship they've had.
Yeah.
We don't know how they grew up. We don't know the circumstances that formed that relationship. Because I think it's almost out of place for someone to give you money and then you're like, oh, he gave me just £25.
Yeah.
Now, that just comes from a place of entitlement. A place of entitlement because maybe he feels I've invested more in you and a human being than £25. We don't know that, right?
Yeah.
But on the surface, somebody gives you 50K, bro, be grateful. Yeah. However, if he has invested more than that in that guy in the past, you'll be like, bro, I keep your money.
Yeah.
So that's that.
True.
There's
it's
that.
dicey.
Because men generally are never ingrets. Let's be realistic.
Yeah,
exactly.
Men
That's
generally.
Yeah.
So that story was a bit weird.
Weird because a man would just take it. He would probably never even talk about it.
Yeah.
But men, you don't find men saying things
But
like
you do know that
£25.
in the world today we're creating feminine men.
Well,
yes, we're creating men who feel
that's valid.
entitled
That's valid.
and you know, feel like, okay, you know what? Because we're friends, I need to get these things from you. Gang.
So
what's your thoughts
I
on
like
that?
this story because it comes from the male perspective. If you're going to bring women in this equation,
It's a different
it's
conversation
going to
at
scatter
that.
the whole thing.
Indeed.
And what Femi said is so on point. You don't know the dynamics. I have some of my friends that we insult ourselves. I have the kind of friends that if I told my friend, yo, guy, I've been in situations with some people that I said, I cannot, that it's inconvenient for me to travel to so place for your wedding. So my flight ticket and accommodation, I'm going to package it and send it to you. And they said, thank you very much. We're grateful. You get me? First of all, if you're getting married, you're not getting married based on the support of others. You're already ready to get married.
May God bless
all these
you,
other
bro.
things are extras. I have some people around me that the way we even insult ourselves, the guy will just be like, oh, Baba, now 50K you want to send me, you they craze, hold your money. Then I'd be like, oh, you know, they even appreciate time. It's not going to affect our friendship because we know how things are.
You know what? I really like that.
So
I like what you're saying.
If you're considerate enough as a friend and you understand, even if I've invested more than that amount in your life, you can be considerate and ask yourself that something must be going on at this time that this guy can't do what I have expected him to do.
Okay, so before I go to Babajide, personally, I feel that I don't like monetary things. I prefer if you want to give me whatever, make it a gift or whatever, and that's it. That is my opinion. So I do understand how certain people can feel like, you know what, I'm more than that value. But it's a sense of entitlement, which is what is the major issue. Babajide.
You see,
Can you quantify things?
What you just said now actually just reminded me of something. A friend of mine got married maybe like 4 or 5 years ago, right? And I mean, we're all friends in the university. And then when my other friend in Abuja called me, like, oh, this guy's wedding is so and so date. I'm like, bro, I'm not.
You're not down for it.
I'm not down for it. I don't have money and everything. Like, I actually gave the guy a suit for his wedding and all of that. Like, okay, this is my cousin. Like, me. And he said, bro, like, we're not even having this conversation. You are going to go there. Send me your data page. He bought the ticket. He paid for the hotel. Like, up until you said it now, I know record
it doesn't
down.
register.
I don't record that
as anything.
We went. He came to Lagos. We flew to wherever the wedding was. We stayed there. We came back to Lagos, and it's 5 years now. I'm remembering now, not me pay
this guy,
for all those things, but he was just like, look, this is whatever it is that you say is going on, which is none of my business. You are going to be here
You
because
have to be here.
I mean that's men.
Yes.
That's
Yeah,
meant
exactly.
for
I mean,
you.
you never
Baba,
asked me.
what's your thought on that?
Genuinely, that's men. Men don't do. Why you can't do like this for me now? No, I mean, so far you thought it befitting to give me something. I think it's a question of the kind of relationship they had.
Yeah.
And I can speak from this angle because I've been there before. When a gentleman, one of my guys was traveling, right? At that time, this was maybe like 7-8 years ago, there was no money. But I was able to raise 800 G's for him, right? And there was no money, right? When Baba got there, of course, they had issues, blah, blah, blah,
Of
back
course,
all these issues.
Yeah.
It took him 3 or 4 years. And eventually, the guy bought my late mom, a very precious gift. So my point is, in a way, he has repaid whatever it is I did for him, not to me, but even to a superior being, which is my mother. When issues of this, he give me just comes, understand that just, you don't get them before. When it comes to giving, I mean, when I saw that topic, I just laughed. I think that the wealthiest people, the people who lived in the best of affluence in life, they understand and know that giving is a spirit. Baba, if you get all the money for this life, if you don't go give anybody, you don't go give anybody.
No. There's nothing anyone can do about
It's my money.
Yeah.
Do you know there's some people now, even men, that's why the feminine men, weaker men, they now have birthday lists. They have BC lists. They will say, oh, this is my BC group. One senior man, old boy, knocking on 50. He had me to one group. I said, senior man, which group it is? He said, it's on my birthday. I said, okay. He now said, these are the things I want for my birthday. He bullet them and hysteric. I would like to change my car. I want money. But I was like, Baba, you're knocking on 50.
Yeah.
I have no issue with the age, but in my thought, my head is like, if I'm giving you something, this is the ideology of gifting people. This is how I see it.
Yeah.
If I'm giving you anything, be you anybody, what I'm giving you, you did not have it before. It should be an addition. It should be my own. So you should never want to color my hand and twist my arm and say, you know what, you must give me X, Y, Z. When people say, oh, I want chop, and then I can now send you maybe 5K, and I say, oh, it's just 5K. I'm like, no, give me my money back. Maybe that just 5K, that wasn't enough for you. It is more than enough for me.
Yeah.
So I think, regardless of the economic situation, as I even say that, oh, economic, people are balling, gang. People where they ball.
Strip club food.
Yes, no.
Street club go full
As
like
we
this.
talk now, this
Some
Friday
men,
night.
some of us, as we come out here, we know where we they go.
But
We dey go.
I don't know where you are going, though.
Some people, they come out, they know where they go.
I don't know where they're going, though.
back to one of the
But
things.
quick one, guys. We're fast running out of time.
Okay, I
I'm
wanted
going
to
to be
touch on
taking.
something Olamide said earlier on.
yeah.
You know, a lot of people appreciate gifting, and they attach more value to the gift that you've given them to whatever it is you spend. They don't want to know how much it costs. That gift is it. But by the time you now want to start quantifying how much this is, like if somebody says, I can't buy a gift, I can't take anything, take this.
Like the shoes I'm wearing right now was gifted to me, and they're really, really expensive, and I appreciate it. I'd rather.
Are you not wearing them?
No, sir.
Even you're even wearing no limit stitches.
No, sir. Okay.
You know?
All right. So I'm just going to say this: competition only
No limit
happens
stitches.
at the bottom, but the people at the top are collaborating, and we are collaborating here, right?
Yes, sir.
Right. Okay. So I'm just going to take.
Let's not shoot that guy away, though. There must be a reason for what he said.
Yeah. I feel there's a
They know
reason for
themselves.
everything.
They know themselves.
But we need to take the comments quickly, and then right after that, there's a ritual we do called Just a Tip, which you'll be giving us just a tip.
It's
Not
advice.
put it all in. It's just
It's a
a tip.
little
Okay.
advice you
all
can
right.
give out.
So at Outlook.com says, I believe Victor Osimhen was wrong and disrespectful. Then the next person at Sheifumi says, Olamide, please, what did you call your guest's surname again? It's Guerrero. Now, Lagos boy, is he married? Just asking. Man, you're on the spotlight. Then we have
answer the question before you go.
Yeah.
Yes, madam is in UK.
Okay,
Yes.
she's
No,
married.
he didn't answer. No.
So are you?
It doesn't. He didn't say where is madam.
I like that.
They didn't
Madam
say where
is
is
in
madam.
UK.
Yes, I'm
Nice.
married.
Yes, madam
Yes,
is
you're
in
married.
UK.
Okay.
Yes, he said this is UK.
Wait, did I see what he did?
Yes,
there?
I'm
I saw
married.
it.
Yeah.
So
That's why.
Smooth.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
See,
I'm married.
Gang, I have no idea what you're talking about.
When I say I'm the most faithful man in Lagos,
There's a reason.
Madam can be in the UK.
God,
And I'm holding it down in Lagos.
All right, so
you're married or married?
let me move on. And then we have Amina, which says, rich uncle giving us orange steez
Yes, sir.
today.
Steez on steez.
Rich uncle on the
We didn't tell
steez.
him.
And then we have this very long comment, which I'm going to try and read quickly. Adapo says, Omo, this story gang said is my reality. I was dating a girl, but my mom was against the relationship because, according to her, a family wasn't up to par. Foolishly, I left her. I even heard she was so sick, she was hospitalized. Fast forward 10 years later, here in America, waiting in queue on the streets of New York to buy burger with my father and mother who came visiting. My father sights this girl. She greets us, and a young man tugs at her, screaming, "Mommy." And my daddy blotted out dark word, "This is your son." Wow. Me looking lost, mommy looking lost, boy looking lost, and the girl burst out crying. Fam, she was pregnant when I foolishly left her by herself because I was stupid. I can never forgive my mother. I spent the last 6 months begging. Okay, this is so long too, but you guys get the old.
No, this is all.
I spent the last 6 months begging for forgiveness. This boy is my splitting image, and to think that I was diagnosed medically recently with a low sperm count, and immediately my girlfriend left me. I'm so heartbroken and grateful at the same time. Okay, Mr. Guerrero.
Yes, sir.
Yes, you have the table
Gang.
to give us just the tip.
Okay, just the tip is
Just the
You
tip.
can go
Brief
inside.
advice.
That's there.
Brief
That's,
advice.
yeah, just the tip.
This is
Yeah.
my camera.
It's okay.
Yes.
Right.
Don't pull everything inside though.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's not UK
pull-out game
people.
is very important.
General tip.
General tip. Exclude locations.
Okay, so I genuinely wasn't. I was set up, right?
Yeah.
It's a setup. But I think the advice I would give, or my tip, would be follow your heart. Yeah, I think in everything you do, follow your heart. Believe yourself. Every other person is taken. Even if you're gonna be anybody else, be yourself. Pick here and there. But then again, let the dominant factor. Let
It's
the
okay,
DNA
it's just the tip.
be you.
Just the
tip.
tip.
Wait.
So this is how that you're
Hold
following.
on.
Waiting they happen again.
So you said, be yourself. Every other person is taking.
Yeah.
Are we talking about people here or people in the UK?
Yeah.
We're talking
Okay,
about
all right. Let me
people
save
around the
you.
world.
Let me save you right now.
Yeah.
Let me save you right now. A
I don't
gentleman's
want to
handshake
know.
is going on.
don't
Thank
want
you,
to
gentlemen.
know.
Thank you,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Babajide
Thank you.
Guerrero. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Rich Uncle. It's nice to have you back on the show. And gang, you know what I'm talking about.
We know.
Without speaking.
We'll see outside Lagos.
All right, it's been an amazing evening
Lagos,
on the Black.
I know they follow.
I said it. Some people are going.
I know they follow that very well. If I leave here,
are going somewhere.
I'm going home. 10 minutes.
Okay,
you
so
can
I'm just
call
going
me,
to
I'm
do this
home.
quickly. You can join my ministry this Sunday. What Would Jesus Do Ministries?
This is where.
I'm going to be passing more information on social media. Oh, God.
God.
All right, anyways, it's been a wonderful evening on the show. It's time to go, so I'm going to say a quick good night. The darker the night, the brighter the stars. We'll see you next week, Friday. Do have a wonderful weekend.
And the phone line will never walk in.
Now you can catch up with your favorite programs on TVC. Log on to www